Dart School presents exchange rates. There are many different countries in the world and each typically has its own currency. For example, you use the rand in South Africa, they use the Great Britain pound in the UK, the euro in a large part of Europe, the United States dollar in the United States, and so on and so forth. Each currency has a different value attached to it. 1 rand cannot buy you the same as $1. Currencies are related to each other by the exchange rate between those two currencies. The exchange rate tells you how many units of one currency you have to give up to get a single unit of the other currency. Let's take a look at a couple of examples. James is traveling to London and Frankfurt and plans to purchase a laptop while overseas. He researches prices on the internet and finds that the laptop he wants to buy costs £250 in London and €300 in Frankfurt. If the exchange rate is 0.048 pounds to the rand and 0.067 euros to the rand, where should James purchase the laptop? So you want to compare 250 pounds. This is the symbol for pounds they use in the Great Britain, the UK. 250 pounds on one side needs to be compared with 300 euros on the other side. And to do that comparison, we need to convert or change both of these to the South African rand, because that acts as a bridge between the pounds and the euros in this particular problem. Now look what I'm going to do. I'm going to multiply both of these with 1. I can do that, right? 250 pounds is nothing but 250 pounds times 1. And 300 euros is 300 euros times 1. Keep in mind, we need the answer as a rand, a certain number of rand on both sides, so that we could compare. So what I'm going to do is, in the next step, I'm going to replace this 1 over here and rewrite that as, okay, so this is 250 pounds. And remember, I'm looking for a rand on the other side. So what I'm going to do is multiply this with a certain number of pounds with rand and divide that with a certain number of pounds, so that you could cross off this pounds and this pounds. The units cross off pretty much just like numbers in fractions, and you are left with a rand. And it's given that it's 0.048 pounds to the rand. So if we have a 1 over here, we have a 0.048 over here. That's to say 0.048 pounds is equal to 1 rand. In the same way, we are going to rewrite this 1 as 300 euros times, we need a certain number of rand in the end. So multiply that with rand and divide that with euros. And this is given to be 1 on the top, 0.067 on the bottom. So that gives us 200 pounds is equal to 200 divided by 0.048, this many number of rand. So this is rand 250 over 0.048, and on the other side 300 euro is equal to 300 over 0.067 rand. So this is equal to 5,208.33 rand. That's the same as 250 pounds. And on the other side we have 4,477.61 rand. So as we can see, this is more and this is less. So even though this number 250 is less, as it turns out 300 euros is less. So this is a better buy as compared to £250 in London. Let's try another one. If 1 Japanese yen costs 0.111 rand, how many yens could you exchange for 700 rand? So basically it's about changing 700 rand to a certain number of Japanese yen. And just as we did in the previous problem, we are going to multiply this with a certain number of yen over rand, so that we could cross off the rand with the rand. We are left with a certain number of yens in the end. And it's also given that 1 Japanese yen, so this is 1, costs 0.111 rand. So this is equal to 700 over 0.111 yen, which is 6,306.31 yen. That is the same as 700 South African rand.